Ever wonder how historians piece together the past? Sometimes the most gripping stories are hidden in plain sight, in dusty old official reports. Today we're diving into a fascinating collection of telegraph messages from 1900, sent between American Army officers in the Philippines. These aren't just dry communications. They're a minute-by-minute account of a fierce battle for the town of Santo Tomas in Batangas. The Philippine-American War broke out on February 4, 1899, so this was almost a year into the conflict. Because the source document is of American origin, it goes without saying that we are able to obtain more details of the fighting from the American point of view. An exchange of communications on January 10, 1900, between General Thomas Henry Barry of the Adjutant General's Office and General John C. Bates in the field provides a wealth of details about the encounters in Calamba and Santo Tomas. If you feel you are learning from this video, this is probably a good time to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. A Colonel Robert L. Bullard, commander of the 39th Infantry, had earlier sent in a report to the former stating that he had engaged Filipino insurgents in a very handsome fight in which 74 Filipinos were killed and wounded, while in the American side, only 1 was killed and 2 were wounded. Bullard's report went, "The first and hardest fight was in the enemy's trenches here within a mile of Calamba, along the Santo Tomas Road southward. 1 man of Company E, 39th Infantry, Private Walker C. Hoskisson, was killed. Lieutenant Petit, 39th Infantry, received a flesh wound in both legs, not serious, and Captain H. C. Baker, 39th Infantry, had right ear perforated by bullet." Bullard's report also highlighted the mismatch between the American and Filipino troops. In all, 24 Filipinos were killed and 1 found on the field. Some 60 fighters were taken prisoners, and many more wounded were being seen being carried to the rear toward Tall Lake. Among the armaments captured were 2 bamboo cannons. Because of this victory, Bullard and his troops were able to take possession of the town of Santo Tomas as well. Filipinos who escaped from the fight and others defeated in Cavite were expected to reassemble in the town of Talisay or reach the mountainous coastal area of Batangas, likely Nasugbu. As many as 9 or 10 organized companies had been driven from Santo Tomas into Tall Lake. On January 11th, Bullard sent word to Barry that Filipino troops engaged a group of 106 soldiers from the 37th Infantry, under the command of 1 Major Cheatham, 2 or 3 miles west of Santo Tomas. The Filipinos were driven away when artillery was used. In all, there was a total of 600 American soldiers stationed in the town after its capture 2 days before. Meanwhile, Bates gave the order to the 38th Infantry on Colonel Anderson to proceed to Talisay and attack the enemy wherever found. An entire regiment, 1,000 to 2,000 men, depending on the country, left Silang for the lakeside town with 4 guns, cannons. These Filipino troops driven from Santo Tomas were being joined by forces beaten in Cavite in a retreat towards the Taal Lake area. American soldiers sent to Talisay under the command of Brigade Commander General Theodore Schwann to find and engage them and cut off their retreat, however did not find it easy to actually do so, wrote Schwann in a report to the Adjutant General. "So far as can be ascertained, no large bands of insurgents are passing south. Small bands are forming in the direction, i.e. south, avoiding trails and moving through woods. Most all of these believed to be making for their homes. Once in the safety of their homes, the Filipino fighters concealed their rifles and assumed the role of amigo. That is, they blended right into the landscape and pretended to be natives receptive to the presence of the Americans. Once Santo Tomas had been secured, Bullard's 39th Infantry, joined by the 38th, which had been ordered to support it, with their wagon trains and guns, rode south through Tanawan and on to Lipa in their drive to start taking control of the towns of Batangas. If you found this fascinating, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next exploration into the past.